Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and it's been quite a wild week. I wanted to just kind of recap how my week ended, and if you're new to this channel, I like to sell options and document how that performs for me. And if I do pretty well, hopefully you'll find that entertaining, and if it ends up going poorly, hopefully you also find that entertaining. And before we get started, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. You guys have been really gracious with viewership and subscriptions lately, and I do appreciate it. And I'm sipping a rum and coke because it's been a wild and eventful week, especially in the stock market. You can see my Sofi stock has performed very well, to say the least. And it's been a long time coming. I've held Sofi for like 3 years or so, it feels like now, and just been slowly accumulating since. And also this week is a good example, if you're selling options, why you might want to consider also having in your portfolio some index funds too, just so you can capture broad market swings like we saw this week. That's why majority of my portfolio, or maybe not majority, but I think it's like 40% or so, is in SCHD and VOO. Not that SCHD is very volatile, but VOO captures obviously the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 performed pretty well this week. So it was nice to have that. And I mentioned in my last video one of the issues with selling calls, because maybe you'll listen to some YouTubers that preach about selling options. I don't tell you the downsides of selling options. But I mentioned in the last video, when I sold a call on Robinhood at a strike price of $25, I was like, yeah, I'd be happy if I sold that at $25. And I'd make $100 in capital appreciation by doing so. But if we look at the price of Robinhood right now, it's at $30.62. So instead of $100 in appreciation, I would have made $662 in appreciation. This is just one of those things when you're selling options, you just have to accept, for better or for worse, because you're trying to make consistent income, but you can't let these moments keep you second guessing yourself if your goal is income. And that's why I do a little bit of both, right? In this portfolio, I have index funds and I hold on to some individual shares, but then I also sell options to try to generate that income. And so this did, as you would expect, expire in the money. So I did sell these shares, or I will sell these shares at $25 a share, making that $100 capital appreciation. I do trade the wheel on the SPY as well. So earlier this week, I sold a call on SPY for a strike of 581, gaining about $300 in premium. And if we look at SPY, it's sitting at almost $600. So I would have gained well over $1,000 more not selling that call. And of course, it's things like these that kind of hurt, but it's just one of those things that you just got to let happen and continue on, because you can't dwell on these. I'm going to continue to try to sell the wheel and trade the wheel on the SPY, and maybe start looking at selling some puts early next week. In terms of what else I've been doing this week, it's really hard to sell puts right now because there's a lot of positive sentiment in the market. So if you're selling calls, you might see some good premium, but if you're selling puts, maybe not so much. And really, since the last video, I think the only two puts I sold were on Nvidia and Sofi. And the Nvidia one I closed early since it expired today. Sofi is for next week. And so far this month, I've made $800 just from selling options. I guess I can put a no here. But anyway, yeah, that's my quick update for this Friday night. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend, and I plan to talk to you guys again early next week.